Hello, I'm Yeonju-tae. I'm very pleased to have an opportunity to ask you. I think each country's influence on decision making will be different because it is divided into two relatively strong and weak countries within the European Union. How can you solve this problem?
Can you be more explicit in your question? What exactly do you have in mind, so that I can answer your question properly?
EU has a strong country relatively and in economy.
Such countries as?
Germany and
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
and there are some countries which is less developed
Yes.
in
Okay.
economy,
Yes.
and they have different influence in decision making because different economy.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, another economic question, but maybe I will broaden it a little bit. Because in fact, so we have 28 member states, as you know. And then, of course, you know, in the European Parliament, the number of members of Parliament for each member state will depend primarily on the size of the population. So I just want to flag that, you know, when it comes to the European Parliament, it's the size of the population rather than, you know, the strength of the economy that will prevail. The second point I want to make is in the Council of the European Union, member states have a different number of votes. So when they have to go to a vote, it will depend on the size of their population, but also on their GDP. So this is where you are right, that, you know, the strength of the economy will also influence, you know, the number of votes that are given to any member state. But apart from that, as you've seen also in the first video, we are aware of the fact that differences, at least in the living standards and the level of development, is a threat to the cohesion of the European Union. And that's why we have adopted the European Social Fund. So this is basically one way in which we can remedy, you know, the inequalities in the European Union. But I also want to stress that within the European Union, what is very interesting is the inequalities are not necessarily between countries, between member states, but the inequalities are primarily between regions. So to use the example of Germany that you have used, if you look at the economic success of the different Länder, or different land, you know, they've got, you know, different, because it's a federal state, so you've got different regions that they call land. If you look at the differences in development within Germany, you will find that, you know, some of them, for example, Bavaria or in the north, you know, Hamburg, they're far more developed than some of the regions, you know, in the east. Similarly, in the United Kingdom, some of the regions, especially in the northeast, have been benefiting tremendously from the European Regional Fund because they are a lot less developed than other regions. So I just wanted to stress to you that, first of all, the economic development of a member state is not everything. In that, you know, smaller countries, and I will mention Luxembourg, that is economically well developed, but is a very small country, is very influential, you know, in the context of the European Union. So economic success or size is not everything. And secondly, that we are addressing this issue in particular through the European Social Fund and through the European Regional Fund.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.